Bienvenidos, aloha, welcome into Sunset Rewind. We today are previewing the Division 6 CIF Southern Section Finals between the team that finished fourth in the Sunset League, the Newport Harbor Sailors, the team that finished fourth in the Southwestern League, the Temecula Valley Golden Bears. We didn't expect to be here with the Sailors, Howard. They finished 3-7 on the regular season. We were wondering if they'd even eke out an at-large berth. We thought maybe we'd get this far with Edison or CDM or Los Al in a crazy upset. But the Sailors, we didn't expect it. Here we are, and what a turnaround it's been for Newport Harbor.
Well, I was going to say, we absolutely did expect to be here as Sunset Rewind. But like you said, we just didn't expect it for the Sailors, especially after going 3-7 in the season. But here we are. They've absolutely represented the Sunset League to the best of their ability. They're holding it down, still fighting, and it's been great to see them in Division 6. Coach Lofthouse keeps telling us this is what we look like against teams that are a little bit more like us. And when we see those matchups, the Sailors have looked excellent through 3 weeks of the playoffs.
I say this every time at the start of the show. Take a minute, follow us on social media. The season's wrapping up, so make sure you give us a follow at Sunset_Rewind. Our website is sunsetrewind.com. Now, these two teams, very similar. Sailors finished fourth in the Sunset League. Temecula Valley finished fourth in the Southwestern League. Newport Harbor, the 3 seed. The Golden Bears, the 4 seed. So two teams that maybe didn't expect to be here, but two teams that started playing their best football at the end of the season, in the postseason. I had the opportunity to catch up with Temecula Valley senior all-purpose player, wide receiver, kick returner, defensive back Sam Batu at the CIF Southern Section Championship Luncheon on Monday, and I asked him about the strengths of the Golden Bears.
I think we're very diverse on both sides of the ball. We have 2 receivers. We have actually 4 receivers and like some backups too that can step up. And then on defense, our linebackers is pretty good, young core, and then our secondary. I think we've been together for some time now, so we all just click like that.
I agree with Sam Batu. It's a very versatile team. This Temecula Valley squad is. They can beat you in a lot of ways, but I think he's being humble because in reality, he is an absolute beast. He's a stud, and he does everything for Temecula Valley. If you look at Batu's stat line against Camarillo last week, 11 catches, 187 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 tackles on defense, 2 passes broken up, and a field goal block. You go back the week before that against Norte Vista, he's got 1 interception, a fumble recovery, 9 tackles, 7 catches, 169 yards, a touchdown. I mean, he's a guy that's an absolute problem for anybody on offense and defense, so he's somebody that you have to account for. But like he said, there's multiple receivers that are talented. You pair that with Zach Zella, the quarterback, who's an experienced guy, a talented kid. He takes some chances. He throws a couple of interceptions here and there, but also puts up big numbers. 300 yards last week against Camarillo, 300 yards against Norte Vista in the second round. He's a guy that can run. He's got a talented group. And Temecula Valley, they get big plays. You know, you've seen a 90-yard touchdown, 60-yard touchdown in the playoffs. So they're an athletic team, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on this Harbor defense, which we know has been a strength in the second half of the season.
Well, you talked about experience. Sam Batu and fellow senior lineman Darius Knight, they both were sophomores when the Golden Bears won CIF in 2019, the last time we had a postseason. So they're used to winning championships. The last time they could, they won one. And all the coaches at the CIF luncheon on Monday, they had their big rings on. So I spoke with Batu and Darius Knight about what it would mean for Temecula Valley to take home another CIF title.
It would mean a lot. We've already won 2 years ago. So for those sophomores or freshmen that were at the time in 2019 that are seniors and juniors now, it'll feel pretty great to them to have the second ring.
2019, I'm sure some of you guys can remember. We won that year, and then we gotta run it back one more time.
Since these guys were around for the 2019 championship, they've got winning in their blood. There's a culture of winning at Temecula Valley, and these guys want to be a part of it. They know what it meant for the 2019 seniors to raise that banner, to have your team memorialized in Temecula Valley history, and they want to be a part of that. They want to bring that home and really have a dynasty. You know, you get 2 CIF titles in 3 years, you're going to be remembered forever. So this would really put a stamp on the 2022 class. So you understand what these guys are talking about. It means the world to them.
Sailors senior offensive and defensive linemen Nate Peters and Grayson Simon were at the CIF Southern Section luncheon on Monday, and I talked to them about Newport Harbor's improved offensive line play in the postseason. Here in the postseason, it seems like the Sailors' line play has been incredible. What's been the key to that?
Definitely getting back to basics, hitting the sled, getting our steps right, and definitely getting a ton of mental reps.
It's been growing as a group. You know, the communication between us, the ability to pass things off, kind of almost without even having to put effort in, because just working together every day in practice, doing the same things, the same footwork, the same routine every day, just keeps us in line and playing together.
Controlling the line of scrimmage has been a key to victory for the Sailors week in and week out, particularly in these CIF playoffs. I mean, we've seen Newport Harbor control the clock on offense, control the tempo with the run game towards the end of the season. And then from the defensive standpoint, we've seen run games absolutely smothered by the defensive line of Newport Harbor. We saw Santa Barbara go away from what they wanted to do because of the pressure. Then we saw Dominguez not be able to throw the ball because they couldn't drop back and get a clean pocket, even when Harbor was only rushing 2 and 3 defensive linemen. So this has been an area for the Newport Harbor Sailors that has come on, particularly in the second half of the season, and the offense and defensive line has been absolutely critical to this team's success in the playoffs.
I want to talk about the receivers as well. Cash and Henjum, 2 touchdowns last week against Dominguez. Josiah Lamarque, 4 touchdowns receiving against Santa Barbara. So the receivers have just been playing like what we talked about, Howard, in our season preview show. We ranked the different position groups. There was a reason we were so high on Lamarque and Henjum, and it's not like they were quiet during the regular season, but now they're playing on another level. I asked their quarterback, A.J. Goutron-Moore, about how they've stepped up in the postseason.
My receivers have been amazing. Cash, Josiah, those guys have came up big. Like Santa Barbara game, I saw something I've never seen out of Josiah. Like I was using him every play, and he was going up getting balls, and I never seen it out of him. So it was great that now I know I have him also. I know I had him, but like at that high level, like I got him and Cash.
Well, you talk about the receiving core as a whole, and we have these guys that we're focusing on. Josiah Lamarque, Cash and Henjum, guys that have come on as stars. Absolutely productive night in, night out. We know what they're capable of. Then you throw in Duke Starnes, big body receiver. Zach Zamora, another big body receiver that can catch the ball over the middle, that gets in the blocking in the run game and is very, very effective on the outside. There's a lot of targets for A.J. Goutron-Moore to work with, and he does a great job reading the defense and taking what the defense gives him.
Howard, let's get right down to it. Sailors win if what? What's Newport got to do to bring home their first CIF Southern Section title since 2005?
The Sailors win if this defense stays aggressive, stays effective, continues to swarm to the ball, and plays with that energy that's contagious, that gives life to their offense. So it's going to start with the D. We need that smothering defense. And then on the offensive side of the ball, we need the O-line to give a ton of room to Henry Slater and Hayden Farley and give A.J. Goutron-Moore time to survey the defense and get to his receivers. So we're going defensive play and offensive line play. Those are the keys to the victory for the Sailors.
Absolutely. We saw it last week against Dominguez. 13-0, the Dons led. They ended up losing 20-19. So you see the defense step up, hold them to only 6 points the rest of the game. The offense matched that intensity, like you said. And the defense has been there all season. We joked about it on our Sailors broadcast. We've watched more Sailors games than pretty much anyone outside of the Sailors coaching staff and some parents. We talked about there was a stretch against Edison and Jay Sarah where the Newport Harbor defense gave up 94 points in 2 games. Yet we knew that there was something working for the defense. The offense went stagnant. Then, once the offense was able to, convert and not go 3 and out, the defense, they stepped up their play as well, and we got to actually see that defense, I guess, at full strength. They're firing on all cylinders. That's where we're at now, and that's why Newport Harbor has made this deep run into the postseason.
Well, success is contagious. Execution is contagious. So you hear the defense stepping up, then here comes the offense, following them, getting their back. It's been a beautiful thing to watch. You talk about giving up 90-something points in 2 weeks. those are the building blocks. Those are the stepping stones to get Newport Harbor to where they are today and to have them prepared for a Temecula Valley offense and prepared for going into a hostile environment on the road against a team that has a winning culture and believes that they can knock you off. The Sailors have been through a lot of ups and downs. They're ready for this moment.
Hey, we saw Sailors fans travel all the way up to Santa Barbara for that game in the quarterfinals, so we expect the Tar Pit to be rocking at least somewhat out in Temecula Valley. Howard, you and I will be there. We'll have the call on tarradio.com. If anybody wants to listen to our call, go to tarradio.com. And regardless of how it ends up on Saturday, it's been quite a run for the Sailors in the postseason, repping the Sunset League very well. I know Coach Lofthouse said other Sunset League coaches were texting him, congratulations, we're pulling for Newport Harbor. So the Sailors repping the Sunset League in the D6 championship, and it's the deepest run in the Coach Lofthouse era. A chance for the Sailors to bring home their first CIF Southern Section banner, like I said, since I was a freshman at Newport Harbor High School in 2005. It'll be a fun one out there. Howard, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. It's been a fun year. Didn't think we'd necessarily be here for the Sailors, but they continue to work hard, persevered, believed in themselves, and here we are. All I got to say is go Sailors.
Go Sailors. For all the players, parents, and coaches in the Sunset League, for my broadcast partner, Howard Kroom, this is Alex Crawford saying, from the 405 to PCH, from Saddleback to the Pacific Ocean, you've been watching Sunset Rewind. Thanks for tuning in.